On. Let's go.
Good morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the Morning Brief. Unfortunately, no, exactly. Tone still has his disco music playing in the background. He's in the resort of Medellin, Colombia, chilling out while we are here in New York City freezing. I think Jimmy's okay in Texas.
No, there's
Anyway,
cedar fever over here, so yeah, not
okay.
exactly okay.
So only Tone is chilled out. Both of us are suffering, but we are still continuing to
Yeah,
work for.
it's my.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're stuttering in and out. It might be the hotel Wi-Fi, but I don't know. Yeah. Oh, tone. We're lost. We've lost tone.
Okay, we've lost Tone, which is okay for now because he doesn't have anything important to say yet. We'll get him back to the price, and we're just gonna kick off. So he's back, and we're gonna kick off with your stories. So no matter what happens, Texas, go ahead.
Tone. Tone. Are you there?
Yeah, am I with you guys?
Yeah, I
I
can
don't know,
hear
you
you.
tell me.
You're on
We can
audio
hear-
a little bit, but
We
you're
can
coming
hear
in.
the music, which is the most important thing. So keep up the music, and hopefully we can get you for some commentary later. Thanks, Bluecore, for the $20 donation. We
Thanks.
appreciate it. It's probably for Tone chilling out in Colombia. So yeah, let's get right into it. So first story is slightly misleading because it says Coinbase doesn't accept incoming wires from Nationwide Bank anymore. But they are only doing that because the bad boys from Germany, Commerzbank, they acquired Nationwide Bank, and they have a policy of not wiring stuff to crypto exchanges, which is funny because I use them. I have an account with them, and I use them to wire stuff to my exchange. However, this doesn't work for Nationwide anymore. And it's actually funny. I spoke to the CEO of Commerzbank. He was at the IMF meeting in October, and I asked him what he thinks about Bitcoin and crypto. And he says, yeah, this is really not for our times because of all the terrorism and money laundering. We need all this decentralized and anonymous stuff is really not that great. So no surprise there. Jimmy, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean it's regulators stepping in. It's weird because Coinbase is actually the sympathetic party here. They want to accept wires from Nationwide Bank, but obviously it's more because of the regulatory stuff. I feel bad for the people that have accounts at Nationwide Bank. Go use another bank. Vote with your feet. And switch banks. But yeah, I expect this sort of thing to happen. But I think Commerzbank will lose a lot of business this way. At least retail business. I'm not sure how profitable that is. A lot of banks, I understand, mostly do commercial banking for their profits anyway.
Well, maybe for the bottom line, but don't forget that the whole financial system is based on people trusting in the deposit system, so they need the retail clients. Tone, what's your opinion? Are you back?
I think I'm back.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is expected, right? And it's very difficult for Coinbase to be a true sympathetic party because they're not really on the side of Bitcoiners either, right? So it's in a tough position, right? It's like on the one hand, Coinbase wants to push the envelope, but on the other hand, they're not, right? They're just
We're losing tone here.
kind of scammy in my opinion, to be expected. Like I don't expect the banking system to just comply with the Bitcoin industry. It's the Bitcoin industry is going to disrupt the banking system. So I don't have a problem with this at all. People should switch the banks.
Just switch the bank. There's enough good banks. In Germany, it's a Fidor bank, which specialized in banking with crypto. And there's plenty of banks sending stuff. So it's all the Commerzbank CEO's fault. I forgot his name, but he's not very sympathetic. Okay, next story. Exciting. We've done some forensic analysis into graphic design, where we went to the We went to the big boys at SBI Group, which is a subsidiary of SoftBank. And SoftBank is not a bank, it's a Japanese telecommunication and investment company. They own a ton of assets. SBI Group itself, they have insurance, they have securities, they have biotech. Anyway, some Ripple promoters, they pointed out that SBI is looking into using Ripple because we've always said nobody uses it. Now, this is the presentation from 2016. This is very important, where it says SBI Remit as the first user is scheduled to complete its demonstration tests to utilize Ripple by August and will then endeavor to utilize it at the earliest possible time. So very important, also here it says SBI founded Ripple Asia together with Ripple. So they are not saying here in 2016 they're going to use it. No, they're saying we want to sell it. We founded this company and we want to sell the product. Okay, and they say they want to test it. Good, so this is from 2016. Now we go to the 2017 presentation. We have an update and go to page, go to page 90 in the presentation.
Yeah.
So you can download this at the SBI Group website. They have an English section under investor updates.
Yeah, so, I have the two links in my video description as well. I don't know, Jimmy should as well.
Yeah, I put at least one of them.
Actually, it's 89 on the presentation.
Yeah, it's right there.
Here we go. We have again Ripple Asia. Then what they say, Ripple Asia. So this is in October of 2016, established the Japan Bank Consortium with Japanese financial institutions. So this is news, and this is, let's just take it as a fact. We've heard of this Japanese Bank Consortium many times. I haven't heard of a Japanese bank confirming this and saying the same thing. If you have information, please let us know. Then here we have March, if you scroll down, March 2017, that's again news. Confirmed that participating financial institutions were able to execute domestic and cross-border money transactions on RC Cloud, which is powered by Xcurrent, formerly Ripple Solution, a pilot environment. So important, this is a pilot environment, and it doesn't involve, at least it doesn't say, it involves the Ripple token, it involves the payment system. And we on this show have always said if Ripple develops a better payment system for banks, great, we just don't know what's going on with the token, right? So important here, yes, they've tested it, and they say that they want start commercial use for cross-border payments end of 2015. This presentation is from November. So far, we haven't had an update. Now, if you look for Thailand in the presentation, Jimmy, search for Thailand. And then the funny thing is that this presentation, it quotes a few Reuters stories about one bank in Latin America supposedly using it. And then it rips off, basically 80% is directly ripped off from the Ripple marketing material from the prospectus about the cost savings, etc. We talked about that before. Okay, so here in this slide is important. So SBI Remit, again, the company that's selling the product, says that the first case of international remittance utilizing blockchain-related technology in Japan. So, so this means, so let's see, providing lower fees, international remittance service. So again, this is kind of vague. It doesn't say that they actually did it. It could mean that they want to do it, but let's just say that they did it. And again, this is utilizing the Xcurrent Ripple solution. Doesn't talk about Ripple the token, doesn't talk about XRP. But here, this is in past tense at the bottom of the slide. The solution reduced remittance period from Japan to Thailand from 1 to 2 business days to 2 to 5 seconds. So let's just assume they tested it and it worked. So good stuff, Ripple networks, Xcurrent, Ripple solution. It seems to work, at least according to this slide. No mention of the Ripple token. Tone, you said you wanted our followers to go look through the 170 pages of the presentation.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is insane. Hey, can you go to page like 90 where they compare Ripple to Bitcoin? Oh, I don't hear you guys.
Well, we are muted.
I was muted, but
it's around page 90. I think. Let me check on my end. You guys enjoy the music?
Music is fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, not 90, page 110, my bad. Like the Ripple report, page 110. Like in the report, page 110.
Yeah, I'm showing it now. Can you see it?
Perfect, right there. Comparison of Ripple and Bitcoin. Now, that is actually directly from the Ripple site. Can you see the source right there of Ripple? Now, here's the thing, right? This is complete and utter crap at this point. So I understand that the average transaction cost of Bitcoin is now a lot higher than $2, but the average transaction cost of Ripple is now unreasonably high because Ripple itself was the transaction cost. So now what you have is the transaction cost of Ripple is not 0.0001. It's actually $3.25 because that's the one Ripple, right? And I think, well, Jimmy, what was that minimum? You have to send like 600 Ripple or something, right?
It was 300. It was 300. Last I saw was about 20.
I don't know if that's on my end or not.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't hear you guys. So I hope the audience can hear you.
No, I can hear you, Todd. It's just that I was.
No, I can hear you, Valentin, but I can't hear Jimmy.
I unmuted myself. Jimmy,
oh, sorry, I was muted.
Internally, yeah. Jimmy was muted internally.
All right, but it used to be 300. Last I heard, it's like 20. So it's still like 20 times 3.
Right. Right, so they're going to constantly, so 20 times 3, right? So the average transaction cost of a Ripple transaction right now is 20 times $3, so that's $60. So the average transaction cost of Ripple is $60 right now, right? Which is bigger than an average transaction cost of Bitcoin. And we know the Bitcoin transaction costs are going to go down in the near future because people will be forced to use SegWit because otherwise they're going to pay giant transaction fees, so they're going to be using SegWit, and Lightning's coming, right? But Ripple is a disaster, and like Jimmy said, Ripple is the lowest unit. So the funny thing here is, since Ripple is so centralized, it's going to be Ripple saying, hey, the value of our token at $3 is way too big. We need to either like issue a lot more tokens to drive down the value of each token. 100 billion is clearly not enough tokens, or they're going to break down one Ripple into 100,000. I don't know who's the. I would say the Jeb McCaleb is going to be like the jab. Each 100,000th Ripple is going to be a jab or something like that, right? I mean, this whole thing is totally nuts. So what I would love our followers to do is, hey, follow up with this bank. Find out what the hell are they doing with Ripple. We want to know. Are they using the token or what? Because to me, Ripple is R3 with a scam coin. They're going to have a big problem. Ripple has a problem. This token is going to be the worst thing that they've ever done. And the irony is that this token just made their company worth, more than Apple. And it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a huge problem.
Jimmy, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's very misleading, I think, in general. They talk about, like doing a lot of this stuff in Ripple. But I don't think it's actually using the ripples very much. And maybe somebody used it for some pilot or something like that. But
no, it doesn't even mention that. They only talk about the network. They don't talk about the token in terms of actual test case scenarios. And the rest, as Tone mentioned, is ripped off, copy pasted from Ripple's marketing material.
Yeah, and this report was written when Ripple was like a penny, so it makes the numbers look a lot better.
No, sub penny.
Yeah. So
sub penny.
Yeah. So I just think I'm hoping people recognize this again. Like if we utilize the same base unit in Bitcoin, one Satoshi is worth like $0.0001 or something like that. So or 0.01 cents. So It's kind of ridiculous. It's totally unit bias. I don't
Right,
give it much
and
credence.
so, like, and the thing is, people still haven't realized how. Oh shit! How's my internet?
It's fine.
Okay, so people still
Oh,
it
now
is
it
to use
stopped.
Bitcoin. Oh, should be back.
Okay, it's back now.
Yeah, yeah. People still haven't realized how dumb it is to use Bitcoin for remittance unless both parties fully understand Bitcoin. And again, I go back to the point that Bitcoin transaction fees are priced in Satoshis. So if the entire Bitcoin ecosystem goes to Satoshi denominations, you have a problem without second layer scaling solutions because your transaction fees will be priced in a unit that fluctuates in value.
Okay, so much for Ripple. People in the chat have been saying, let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin. We have got the Zero Hedge story here, which has quite a lot of detail from a JP Morgan report looking into the futures market. Now that we've about, 3-4 weeks after the futures have launched, the two main takeaways: the volume is disappointing. There's not a lot of volume. The record is like 200 million per day, which is nothing. And then second, that the professional speculators, they are building a short position. Tone, what do you make of this?
I mean, I haven't seen anything significant come out of the fact that we now have Bitcoin futures. I still believe the volume is incredibly low. The leverage is incredibly high. I mean, like all of these fears that Wall Street is going to like destroy Bitcoin with these futures, I think they're totally unwarranted. I think that the drop in the price of Bitcoin has nothing to do with the launch of the futures. I think it's a huge coincidence, but it's not a total coincidence. I just think speculators drove up the value of Bitcoin with Wall Street getting in. If Wall Street finally got in, it was a sell the news event. Everyone seems to be in love with Ethereum and Zcash right now, and Ethereum Classic and Ripple and the Tron scam and everything else. And Bitcoin is just, going down, and that's fine. Just accumulate more Bitcoin, because none of this other shit is going to matter. And I don't think Wall Street is building up a giant short position in Bitcoin, because if they're smart, they would see that the total market cap of crypto is approaching 1 trillion, and 90% of that is just speculation in altcoins that are worthless. So if there is a tulip bubble, it's happening in Ripple and Ethereum. It's not happening in Bitcoin.
So can you pull up the price of Ripple real quick?
I mean, Ethereum is up like what? Triple in the last week or two, or something like that.
Yeah, everything suffered, but Ripple's gone down to $2.42. It looks like.
Isn't it? No, I thought it was back to like 320 last night.
No, it crashed.
It crashed a lot because the Korean exchanges they started taking those out of the equation.
Oh, really? Wait,
I'm
looking again. I just looked the other day. I'm like, holy shit! This.
Oh yeah, that's the story. That basically most of the volume for Ripple comes out of Korea, and some people say it's because they have the anonymous trading accounts.
No, it's the wash trading. Lots of wash trading. So the price actually is that, but yeah.
Yeah, and they're looking into that, or they're inspecting 6 banks. So Ripple basically down 30-35%. And maybe that that affects the Bitcoin price as well a little bit.
Oh yeah, hey, yeah, Ripple is down 30% in the last 24 hours. I haven't looked in. I looked yesterday afternoon. Yeah, I looked like maybe 16 hours ago, and that shit was back to like 330. I'm like, god damn.
Yeah, no, a lot of these other tokens with unit bias are starting to go down as well. But I mean, it's a bloodbath out there today. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I'll have some good news for Bitcoiners in a minute then.
Okay, so good news for Bitcoiners later with the price. Good news for Telegram because they are launching an ICO. Jimmy, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I like the product. I think it's got some cool things about it, especially with messaging, and I do a lot of messaging on Telegram. The fact that they're filing for an ICO is very disappointing. I don't know if they can't find money in the capital markets or something like that, but yeah, it's not a good sign for me.
Tone.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed as well. I mean, I really like Telegram. I mean, I really wonder. Is because the creator of Telegram, I mean, he's done other projects that were, Russian government interfered with his other projects. But like, is this his idea, or is someone like trying to scam him? That's the question, right? Like, I would love to know. I would love to know who is advising him, right? Is it like that stupid company out of Germany that's publicly listed that has Roger Ver as an advisor, and they're now going ICO? I forgot the name of that company already, but I expect the CEO and the CTO to go to prison and definitely lose their publicly traded German company. And like, that's the thing, right? Like, when the hammer, the good news for Telegram is that they have nothing to do with America. They have not, they're not a publicly traded company. Telegram is currently unregulated. So that's a good thing. The bad thing is, I mean, if there is an ICO that's going to pump like crazy, it's going to be the Telegram ICO. I mean, every Bitcoiner uses Telegram. I'm personally responsible for at least like 1,000+ people to use Telegram, right? So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
So everybody who uses Telegram, send them a message saying, don't ICO.
Yeah, please don't ICO. I mean, there's enough Bitcoiners that will help fund your company, I believe. But that's the thing. Like, a lot of Bitcoiners probably won't fund their company. They're like, no, I can make more money by pumping your ICO. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But I don't know, maybe this is where we're going, I don't know. Like, but things like this bother me. Like when a company like Kick, or that company in Germany, these companies have a minor revenue stream, but these companies cannot compete in the real environment, and they're ICOing, and they have just terrible advisors. But when you see a company like Telegram that is actually crushing it in a messaging space, I don't know if they have any revenue, but I know they're crushing it in the messaging space, because everyone I meet here in Latin America, they're like, oh, I use WhatsApp. And I'm like, no, WhatsApp sucks. I'm not using that. You want to talk to me, you talk on Telegram. And WhatsApp is just a joke. And Telegram is going to take it over. And I really hope they find the revenue stream. So this would be very disappointing.
I forgot about this story, guys, but I do feel like we have to talk about it a little bit. Electrum had a pretty major bug.
Oh, yeah, that's a big story. Shit, I knew about that one.
Yeah. It basically allowed cores. It's like cross-site JavaScript and stuff. So if you were running the RPC server, that it would not authenticate at all. They did correct that in this pull request here, and you can sort of take a look at it. They just basically deleted the code that would allow you to do that. So update your Electrum if you're using the Electrum wallet. I just want to remind people, if you're watching this show, you use the Electrum wallet, maybe for their BEC32 support or whatever. They released an emergency patch, so you should definitely go and download it. I think if you go to Electrum GitHub, there's a releases tab here. And 16 hours ago, they released 3.0.5. They no longer have 3.0.4, which had the vulnerability. So please go and download it and utilize that instead. Very important sort of public message. I guess that's about it.
Okay, I assume you also want to talk about the mempool, Jimmy.
Yeah, so we've eaten through like the biggest ones, like the 200 plus, the 140 plus. We're now starting to get into the 100 plus. But if you look a little bit closer, which I will do in a second, you can see that there's still a large amount of transactions, and this may be growing today. If you really want to get in your transactions, you're going to have to pay 300 to 500 Satoshi per byte. But you may also, depending on how things go today, also be able to get it in with like 100. If you need something right away, I would say, put in 300 to 500. If it can wait, you might be able to get it in for somewhere around 100 to 140. So
Yeah, I had a few. I had some transactions that were about 75 satoshis per byte that have been hanging for like 3 to 4 days. They cleared last night.
Okay, yeah. So there's some people. A lot of miners are starting to like. Hopefully they eat into this stuff, and then we can be good again. I do want to tell people, I am available to help you split your coins if you want. I've already had a bunch of. I've been doing that all weekend. But yeah, there's a. Especially if you're using Electrum, might be a good time to go and switch wallets, or if you want to use like the newer version of Electrum, just maybe create a new wallet and put your funds in there. Yeah, I mean, obviously the mempool isn't great right now for doing that, but if you want your split coins, this is the way to do it.
Okay, so much for the mempool and the splitting.
Toad, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. What's the minimum, right? I mean, you don't want someone with half a Bitcoin reaching out to you, right? Like,
Yeah.
What's your minimum amount of Bitcoin you would split?
Well, 10 if it's Bitcoin Diamond and Super Bitcoin and Bitcore. But if you also have Bitcoin Gold, then it could be a little bit lower. And if you also have Bitcoin Cash, it can be lower still. But just email me, jimmy@programmingblockchain.com, and we can talk about it.
Tone, can you talk about the price?
Yeah, let's do it. Before I do that, while I'm still on camera, no, I'm still at my new favorite spot at Meta E, and I already finished my coffee and going off on a drink. And my breakfast has been sitting on my freaking table for an hour and a half. They're looking at me weird. Here, check this bad boy out.
Wow. Is that a poached egg?
That's poached eggs.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Little ruddy,
in a giant avocado.
Nice. I prefer a little more meat myself, but
yeah,
like
I'm gonna be getting meat later, but this breakfast is mostly paleo. All right, let's do the price. I think we've let people hang here long enough. Where am I? I think I should be here. Okay. Let's talk about the price. Let me move you guys out of the way here. So the week did not start off very good, but the good news is that the week just started, and this is going to be a rough week, right? In order to maintain bullish momentum, we really need a brand new all-time high close, which is potentially pretty unlikely. I mean, we need to go back above $19,000 by Sunday. Is that possible? Sure. Is it likely? Probably not. Now, if the count resets, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So let's see where we go. We're still working on what's starting to look like an ascending triangle, which is a good thing, again, right? Because we can kind of, draw this trend line here like that, right? So we're still looking pretty good. And this was the original entry into the bullish trade. We overshot a little bit, probably because of the futures. We overshot on the downside again probably because of the futures. And if we can get to this point and bust out, things are still looking pretty good. All right. Now let's go take a look at the daily. So the daily is what we've been focusing on. Again, it would have been nice to break out of this triangle right away. And but what's happening right now? Let me extend this by 1 day. I'm still within the rules of this triangle here, right? So if I extend this by a day, this is pretty damn good support because it's where the 50-day moving average is. It's where the bottom of the triangle is, if I had drawn it this way from the beginning. And if I just Google, symmetric triangles, symmetrical triangle pattern, right? And we go to images. This is how they usually go down. Let me see. Let me look for a good picture here. A good stock picture. Something like this, right? Look, you bust out, you come back to around the tip of the triangle, and then you go up, right? So like it's not always easy to time, but technically what's happening right now is a pullback within the rules. I mean, you can't assume that when this candle is forming with the number 6 that we're gonna pull back, you know, for $2,000. But and even though we fell below the breakout point, again, that is within the rules. Like you can see right here in this picture that we're breaking out, and then we fall below the breakout point of the symmetric triangle. So technically speaking, the rules of the bullish breakout or something like this, right? Again, see this point is slightly lower. Technically, we're still there. We're still, you know, here's another picture, right? You break out, hopefully it'll focus. Taking its time to focus a little bit. You can see that it breaks out, that it comes back even lower, and then it breaks out again, right? So, I mean, can we go all the way down? Sure. But right now, we're still within the rules, and it looks like we initially bounced right off the 50 and right off the bottom of the triangle. Let's go to the 4-hour, okay? So the 4-hour, the 8 candle is like this capitulation candle, okay? If I zoom this out a bit, this is the 4-hour, right? I think we've seen this before. You know, we've seen this kind of like in this area, right? Like here is another, here is another monster 8 candle. Then we had this 9. We did make this secondary low, and then we went up, right? Can we get one of these again? Well, again, this is the 4-hour chart. We've now gone even lower than I thought. I thought this yellow line would be a nice little break. I thought we would get a 9 right here. This point in the arrow was strategic. We're going to get a 9 on this day. See, this is why you have price targets and time targets. So this is my time target, and it's going to happen in about 9 minutes. So in 9 minutes, we're going to get a 9. Maybe I'll send out a tweet, right? Let's see how this candle finishes in 9 minutes. Let's see how the 9 goes. But we do have a 9 on the 4-hour chart next candle. No matter what happens next candle, it's a 9. Let's see if this is a full-blown reversal 9. I mean, we had a 9 over here. So there could be some relief coming in with Bitcoin. And nice bounce here, a 9 coming up on the 4-hour. This count will probably reset. But until you start getting red numbers lower than prior red numbers, there's no short play on the daily. Here's the 1-hour chart. And the 1-hour chart is also going to have a 9 next candle. And most likely, we might even hit a 13. So lots of things are coming in over the next 4 hours that should give us some temporary relief. Hopefully, we can get this 13 coming in along with this 9 on the hourly, and things are looking pretty good. I mean, I still have my Ripple chart somewhat open, and they're pulling back up, but that one works counterintuitively. And please don't forget to sign the petition. I mean, I'll do it once I'm home tomorrow. This is the petition for Coinbase to add Segwit, and almost at 5,000 signatures. I think that's all I've really had to say, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Tone. So do you think this has anything to do with the sell-off with the Korean exchanges?
I mean, on Ripple, sure. I mean, Bitcoin has a life of its own. Look, I'm kind of liking this Bitcoin discount here. My seminars just became cheaper. I don't mind. I really don't mind. I really, really don't. Like, man, like everyone, see, this is the problem, right? Everyone always freaking talks crap. If only Bitcoin fell to $5,000, I would mortgage my house. And I'm like, oh yeah? So you're telling me that Bitcoin crashed in one day from 15,000 to 5,000, the first thing you're gonna do is run out and mortgage your house? Look, guys, enjoy it. All right, enjoy the low prices.
Okay, thank you, Tone. Jimmy.
Well, yeah, I don't know how the efficacy of a petition when you have an engineering team that I don't think is focused on that sort or is able to do it. So, but anyway, I'd like to remind everybody, like, yeah, hope for the long term. Don't worry too much about short term fluctuations. You know, we might see a pretty bloody day, but you know, we might also see a lot of increase in value in the next few days too. So who knows? Just hope for the long term, and you'll be okay.
So thanks anyway. Thanks everybody for watching while Tone is enjoying his breakfast, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
All right, and this song is done.